Have you ever heard of the day when the power of the Templar Knights shook kings and popes? Men who began as warrior monks and in just a short time controlled fortunes, castles, and secrets that changed history. But could that very power also have been the cause of their downfall? In the 12th century, the Templars emerged with a simple and sacred purpose: to protect pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. Men of faith who took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, yet wielded sharp swords and wore heavy armor. Over time, their fame spread. Kings trusted them, popes protected them, and people saw them as true warriors of God. But there was something even more remarkable. The Templars not only fought, they also managed lands, collected taxes, and created a network of loans that became the foundation of what we now call the banking system. Imagine this: in every Templar fortress, travelers and nobles could deposit gold and receive a letter of credit valid anywhere in Europe or the East. That is how the Templars became not only wealthy, but indispensable. They were the bankers of kings, and when a king was in debt to a Templar, the balance of power began to shift dangerously. And it is precisely here that the mystery begins. How could an order of warrior monks accumulate so much power that it came to frighten the greatest thrones of Europe? This is the story we are about to uncover. If you enjoy the mysteries of the Middle Ages, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share your thoughts on what you believe led the Templars from glory to ruin. Your support helps keep alive the memory of these stories that echo through the centuries. Over the centuries, the power of the Templars grew to a point where they could no longer be seen merely as warrior monks. They were bankers, land administrators, advisors to kings, and owners of unimaginable fortunes. And in a medieval world driven by the struggle for power, wealth was always a dangerous thing. In France, King Philip IV, known as Philip the Fair, found himself in a desperate situation. His court was luxurious, his wars costly, and the royal treasury nearly empty. The king owed enormous sums to the Templars, who had financed many of his campaigns. The debt was so great that Philip realized he could never repay it. And it was precisely at this point that the power of the order began to be seen as a threat. Pope Clement V also entered the picture. He was a man of faith, but also weighed down by the political intrigues of the time. Dependent on the French king, Clement became an instrument that Philip could use to achieve his goals. What began as a strategic alliance quickly turned into a conspiracy. Philip knew he could not face the Templars on the battlefield. They were respected warriors, disciplined, and had allies all across Europe. But if he could stain their reputation, he might destroy the order from within. That is how accusations of heresy, blasphemy, and dark secret practices began to surface. Carefully spread rumors started to circulate, preparing the ground for the strike to come. The Templars, who had sworn to serve God and protect Christendom, were now portrayed as traitors to the very faith they had vowed to defend. In the eyes of the people, a shadow began to form, and in that shadow, Philip saw the perfect opportunity to erase his debts and crush a powerful rival. The stage was set. The most powerful military and religious order of the Middle Ages was about to face not armies, but accusations, intrigues, and the crushing weight of a conspiracy forged in the halls of power.
In the early hours of October 13, 1307, a Friday that would forever be marked in history, the secret orders of King Philip IV were carried out across France. In a single strike, hundreds of Templars were taken by surprise, seized in their own homes, dragged from fortresses, and brought before royal justice. The people watched in shock. Those who had been seen as holy warriors, defenders of the faith, and guardians of Christendom were now accused of dark crimes. The impact was immediate. A reputation built over 2 centuries began to crumble in just a matter of days. The accusations sounded as though they belonged to another world. They claimed that during their initiations, the Templars denied Christ, spat upon the cross, and worshipped strange idols, including a mysterious head known as Baphomet. Other rumors insisted that they performed secret midnight rituals, surrendering themselves to blasphemies and hidden pacts. Many historians believe these charges were fabricated by the king and fueled by the fears of the people. But at that time, even a whisper of heresy was enough to condemn. And the more fantastic the accusations, the faster they spread. The Templars denied it, but the power of the crown was unrelenting. Arrests multiplied, and the population, once fascinated by these knights, began to look upon them with suspicion. From defenders, they became suspects. From heroes, they became prisoners. On that Friday the 13th, it was not only the fate of a few men that was at stake, but the destiny of an entire order. The world was witnessing, unknowingly, the beginning of a trial that would forever change the story of the Templars. After the mass arrests, the darkest chapter of the Templars' story began. To uphold the accusations, King Philip IV needed proof, but since none existed, there remained only one way to obtain it: forced confessions. And for that, the cruelest weapon of the Middle Ages was unleashed: torture. In damp dungeons, Templar Knights who had once faced wars and battles in the name of faith were subjected to unspeakable torments. They were stretched on the rack, their limbs broken, burned with hot irons, deprived of food and sleep. Pain became the most effective weapon against the very honor of the order. Under unimaginable suffering, many Templars confessed to whatever their inquisitors demanded. They admitted to heresies, dark rituals, pacts with demons, and even the worship of idols. These were confessions torn not from truth, but from the desperate need to make the agony stop.
And yet, among these forced depositions, stories emerged that still intrigue us today. Some spoke of strange symbols, mysterious names, and practices that seemed to blur the line between faith and hidden knowledge. Were these merely the inventions of men broken by torment, or fragments of something that truly existed, concealed behind the veil of the order? Meanwhile, the image of the Templars deteriorated further in the eyes of the people. What had once been mere rumors now appeared as official confessions, and King Philip used every word to strengthen his claim that the order was corrupt and had to be destroyed. The silence of the dungeons echoed across the kingdom, but those stone walls held more than pain.
They preserved the birth of a legend, one that, centuries later, would still fuel mysteries and theories about the hidden secrets of the Templars. After years of manipulated trials, confessions forced under torture, and King Philip IV's relentless campaign, the Order of the Templars was nearly destroyed. Their lands had been confiscated, their wealth diverted to the crown, and their members scattered across the prisons of Europe. Only the final act remained, the elimination of their leaders. In 1314, Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Templars, was brought before the crowd in Paris. After enduring years of humiliation, forced confessions, and false accusations, he remained steadfast until the end. As the flames rose around the stake, his voice echoed across the banks of the Seine, proclaiming his innocence and that of his brothers. According to accounts from the time, Molay pronounced a curse against King Philip IV and Pope Clement V, summoning them to appear before God's judgment within a year. And, to the astonishment of many, the prophecy came true. The Pope died only weeks later, and the king followed within months. The execution of Jacques de Molay not only marked the official end of the Templar Order, but also ignited one of the greatest mysteries in history. His curse became legend, and the image of the Templars, once stained by accusations of heresy, was transformed into a symbol of courage, loyalty, and injustice. Thus ended the visible story of the order, but not its legacy. Centuries later, people still speak of their hidden treasures, their guarded secrets, and their influence on later societies. The Templars did not vanish completely. They became myth, shadow, and memory that endures across the ages.